Hi, my name is Alice April, and you're watching Nelly Event Personal Education Vlog number 2. And today's subject is really important in my humble opinion. It's all about being self-sufficient and also being mindful to other people around you. So let's start with being self-sufficient. What does it really mean, and how can we be self-sufficient? So we start being a child, living in a family, or even if we live with our caregivers, there are people in our lives that are teaching us basic things on how to take care of ourselves. And you can imagine what the list would be: to make sure that we wear certain things, eat certain things, that we're comfortable in our place where we live, that we learn basics about life and about our character, about people around us, how to communicate, how to find our passion in life in order to be able to eventually provide for ourselves, right? We learn from our parents or caregivers by their example to us, and also we have this inside feeling of the right or wrong. It's a very philosophical question, I guess, all about inner wisdom. So how do we know that what we are taught is actually beneficial to us? Well, if it brings good results, if we are benefiting from this information being applied in our own life, that's probably a great thing to learn, right? So we learn specifically within this timeline where we live in. So of course, if our parents experience something, they're gonna teach us that. So we need to learn that and also adapt to the modern living. You probably are familiar with how our parents teaching us not to be too involved with the technology and be present when they have family activities and when they're trying to really get this communication process going for us, right? So that being said, you be your own judge and try to figure out what's right and what's not so great. I'm not gonna say wrong, because we're all human beings, and right and wrong is, again, for some people not the same. So just whatever benefits your life is right for you. Whatever is basically endangering your life or making you not very happy, bringing bad results, is probably not so great, and you should get rid of it, or not be doing it. That's probably the best way to put it. So how do we become self-sufficient? When we learn everything, all the basics that we need to learn. And right now, you can go online and do your research, as I mentioned in the previous video. You can also learn not only from your parents, but also from your friends. Again, they will be showing you a good and a bad example, and it's basically up to you which example to take in. You got to be wise about it. And remember, there's peer pressure, there's a society pressure, there's a certain so-called time frame pressure. So back in the day, it was like the man is a provider and it's not so important for a woman to make money, but now it all changed because women can work as well and they can create this financial freedom for themselves. It's actually way better on relationships, because we all know is when one person is a provider, that person is expecting certain things to go their way, and it can result in some disagreements, mildly speaking. So when you learn to take care of yourself, when you discover your passions in life, when you know what value you bring to the society, specifically maybe a service that you can provide or a product that you create for other people to benefit from, that's when people get interested in hiring you, or in a, in a business way of saying things, they are interested in your services or in your product. That is when you start making a certain kind of living. And obviously we're all different as for that. So some people want to have these fancy living conditions, and some people want just whatever makes them happy. It's all about what makes you happy. If you want to live in a castle and that makes you happy, and you want to have a family or you don't want to have a family, that's what makes you happy. If you want to go places, buy things, discover different things in your life, that what brings value for you and creates those happy vibes. That's awesome. If you're a person that is happy with just little things in your life, like for some people, it's living in a small house, but that you can take care of it. You don't need to hire a maid, you don't need to bring strangers into your home, and you can perfectly take care of it, or not to take care of it, which is another subject. Hopefully you do take care of your home. But yeah, whatever it is that makes you happy, that you can actually make happen with your budget. Then it's also about how you manage the money that you're making. And let's say you lost your job, you will still be able to make living. You will still be able to provide for your basic needs, right? That's all really important, and that's all a part of being self-sufficient. It means that before you can find that next step in your life, that other job, you will have some kind of resource to buy food and pay your bills and have some fun as well. Life has to be fun, otherwise it gets all too robotic and all too routine-ish, and then some people stop being happy. And of course, it's those things like being healthy and being productive and being actually excited about doing something with your body, with your mind, with people around you. All of that is a part of being self-sufficient. Now, if you're a dependent person, and here is a huge difference, being dependent financially on someone, or emotionally being dependent, or being dependent because other people are succeeding and you kind of want that success, but you feel like you're not good enough and you need to follow somebody in life in order to feel happy. You don't have your personal achievements and your personal success within your talents or the value that you bring into this world. That means that you need to dive deeper and discover yourself and keep searching, because chances are that if you never give up and if you keep going for your dreams, if you keep searching, you will eventually find it. Well, of course, we don't want to wait too long, but even if you're in your 80s, if you live that long and you finally found that passion of yours that makes you 100% a happy individual, well, we never know in percentage wise, but if it makes you extremely happy with your life, that's awesome. And even if it took 80 years or 90 years to achieve that, that's great, because this life is all about finding who you are and enjoying yourself and being happy and bringing that value into the world. Religious people or people who have faith, they usually say we find our purpose by serving other people, and this way we make our Heavenly Father happy, because we make Him happy, or our Creator, we make our Creator happy by serving Him, which means serving other people, which means action towards somebody you care for. And again, I'm gonna say that love is action, and if you love somebody, you're gonna go and do something for those people unconditionally, which means you don't get anything back from them. If you love a thing, again, you cannot expect anything from a thing other than it's gonna keep working for you. It's not gonna break. So if you take good care, again, action towards that thing, that means it's gonna serve you longer. It means it's gonna make you happy longer, which is awesome. So now that we learned about being self-sufficient, again, it means that learning yourself, learning everything about yourself, being able to do all these basic things for yourself. And again, some people, they need somebody to take care of them that are physically challenged. That's a whole different story. Those people are totally okay with having somebody in their lives forever to take care of them. Some of us are less fortunate, and that's great when we have that person. But if we're 100% capable and not doing it for just silly reasons, then we're taking away from ourselves. Basically, nobody else cares, right? It's all about who we are and how we feel, right? So maybe some people will disagree, but I believe a completely happy person that is not physically challenged, of course, is self-contained. And if you're a happy person and there are other people around you, you're going to bring more value to those people because they're going to see your happiness. They're going to be supercharged by your happiness, and that is going to create the circle of love around you, and you're just going to feel extremely happy. Again, Nelly, I translate into not enough love in life. Why? Simply because what you give is what you get. So if you don't feel like you have enough love in your life, that means that you're not given enough. Then you need to figure out what can you do to give love away, and then you're gonna start getting it back. And trust me on that. I'm speaking from experience, but I'm sure many of you can bring your own examples of how when you did things for other people, you received that gratitude, that service back. Sometimes even from people that you didn't do anything for, but they're just popping up in your life and making great things happen for you just because you did something to another person sometime in the past. So yes, being self-sufficient is knowing yourself, being able to provide for your basic needs and for fancy needs that you have. You know what I mean? Sometimes you want to spoil yourself a little bit. Not to the point where you're spoiled rotten, like some Americans say, and you know, but to the point where you can afford certain things that you really want, and they make you happy, and they bring value. Those things bring value into your life, which is awesome as well. You know, nothing is wrong about that. So yeah. When you figure out what you really want to do and the personal value that you can bring to other people, that's usually when people want to pay you. When people want to pay you, you start making money. Or in this case, sometimes your value is service to other people. So when you serve somebody, like back in the day, people exchanged items and services instead of money. And that is another thing. Sometimes you can exchange services with other people or items, and that will benefit you. That will make you more self-sufficient, which is again another subject, but it's pretty deep, and I hope you take everything out of this information, use it for your benefit and for the benefit of people around you. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is being mindful of other people around you. What do I mean by that? Simply means that a lot of times, of course, our parents first, or our caregivers, they try to teach us something. Usually they teach us something that they know from their personal experience. And sometimes, let's just put it this way, we disagree. And we want to oppose them. We want to create an argument saying, well, you know, I know better because I know myself better, and this information is not doing me any good. And sometimes it's the case. You know, sometimes another person tries to teach you something that you have discovered for yourself and you know better, but it's always very beneficial to be respectful to that person. And it's always great, again, I said it in the previous video, not to create an argument, but create a conversation. Versus fighting with your parents, you can say, yes, first of all, you know, the higher law teaches us to be respectful to people that gave us life and that took care of us before we could take care of ourselves. So that's one thing. But another thing, let's say that person is not a great example for you, and they've made mistakes, and you've seen those mistakes, and you don't want to go that path. you want to take your own, and you can just be respectful and say, yes, I understand. I understand your point. I appreciate your suggestion and your insight, and leave it at that. This way, there's no argument, and those people are not upset, and you learn something. Maybe you learn what not to do, and in some cases, you really are there for the conversation to learn what not to do. In many cases, though, if you really listen, and what I wanted to say is we're given 2 ears and only 1 mouth for a reason, because if we listen more than we speak, it's written everywhere in the books, we benefit so much more. If we're actually listening and not thinking in our head, well, we gotta reply to that, but actually listening to these people, what these people are saying, chances are we're gonna learn great information that we can apply, or at least that we can be aware of something that we didn't know before. And it's also great. So being mindful means basically not creating an argument, being respectful, being understanding, doing your best to be understanding, because sometimes we disagree. A lot of times we disagree, and there would be no arguments in the world if everybody would be mindful. You know what I mean? Everybody will just listen and learn, and life would be awesome. But it's in the perfect world, in the fairy tale, in Disney. It just doesn't happen in real life. But this is why I created the personal education page and vlog and all this video goodness that I have learned from my experience that hopefully can serve you. Again, you can disagree. I can do nothing about it, but I just want to put it out there, because for some people, when I was a kid, for me it wasn't obvious, okay? And for many other people that I meet, it's not obvious. And so if they learn that in one way or another, it does benefit their life in a huge way. Like, for example, people talking behind each other's back. It's wonderful when you say something great about that person, but what if you don't like something about that person and you bring it up, and now this person's got bad reputation all of a sudden because of your opinion, and your opinion might not always be, So again, be mindful of other people, especially be mindful of people that you care for, and strangers that did nothing wrong to you. Sometimes we judge public leaders, or we judge celebrities, and we don't know nothing about their life, and we don't know nothing about their personality. All we know is rumors. All we know is public information that in many cases might not even be true. It might have been created for one reason or another. So it's really important to be that kind, mindful individual, because remember, what you give is what you get. So if you're doing something not so great towards another person, that can come back and bite you. So I hope this vlog is valuable to you. I want to hear from you. I want to know your insight on what I was talking about, on personal education, how it brings the value into your life, also on self-sufficiency, and what experiences you had. Of course, I want to make a video on finances and how to be wiser with your money. It's going to be a whole different story, but I do want you to share. If you have great insight on the subject, please share in the comments below, and make videos for me that I can review and know as many points of view as possible, because I'm super curious what your experiences are, and that is why I want this personal education community grow. Of course, you can find my blog and all the cool wisdom and resources that I post on Nelly event. You can go to alice-april.com/Nelly event. You can go to the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Nelly event. And I hope to see you there. I hope to read comments from you guys. And as I love saying, this is my favorite phrase, let's hack our dreams, because dreams don't just come true, we make them real. And I hope your dreams can come true and you can be self-sufficient and make best living for yourself, and that you can also be mindful and have great relationships with other people without arguments and without any heated situations. I love you guys, and I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Alice April, and you're watching Nelly Event, vlog number 2. Thank you. Bye. Dreams don't just come true, we make them real.